We live? We live. Welcome to another episode of In Space. I'm your host, Chris Connor. Below me, got my dog Lito with the caca in the back of him.
Caw, caw.
I mean the caca is something else in Spanish. I ain't mean to do that. The caca in the back. That's crazy.
This man,
That's,
this man
we
really trying to shit on me, Mike.
we
That's
are
crazy.
we off to a
Wow.
bad start. But we to help fix this, we got one of my favorite followers on Twitter, who really a teacher of the game, coach of the game. Um, big on development, big on balance and conversations. One of the earlier people that I remember joining the spaces and really help educating people that maybe don't know as much about basketball as they think. You know what I'm saying? So we got Coach Mike Cyprien. What up, dog?
Not much, man. Glad to be here. I'm glad to see y'all boys flourishing in this lane in the city. Pretty dope.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, dog. Cause you next, one way or
Hey man,
another.
I'm just happy to be here, baby. That's all.
Straight up. Hold up, Chris, before you get started. Mike, go ahead and tell them what part of the city you from, bro.
Uptown, 13th Ward, baby.
All right, cool. All right.
Jenner Street, right behind Our Lady of the Lord.
Oh man, you know I want to see the championship over there.
Now, at Harrell?
No,
Oh no, at
we
Lord.
lost. Yeah.
At Lord,
Seventh,
yeah,
seventh,
yeah.
seventh, eighth grade, we were serious.
Nah, man, I'm a North kid. I'm a North kid. So Line Center, that's where I spent a lot of time hooping at Line Center. With Coach Wayne and a lot of us came up in that, and then we went on and played high school ball against each other. Some of us played college, but the good thing is a lot of the dudes I hoop with, you know, they family men now. So it's dope seeing them. You know, some of the dudes I was in the sandbox with, teaching their kids how to hoop, stuff like that, and then I'll circle back like Mike, man, when he start walking and running and hooping, I'm gonna put him with you. I'm just hoping that I can keep up with him when it comes to that point.
Yeah, yeah. Chris, I could tell a quick story real quick about
Go
Mike,
ahead.
and then Mike might not even know this story, but
Go
I
ahead.
remember this shit vividly. Man, Mike, I was a freshman in high school, I think, and we was hooping at Gurney Brown.
Oh Lord, Gurney Brown, that's the name for
You know,
you.
you know, now you know this story official. I'm telling you, it's Gurney Brown, right? So the
Yes,
summer,
indeed.
it was the summer, and I think all y'all boys, the whole part of the project, all y'all boys was in college. Y'all was going to Southeastern, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
What's your big man name? You know who I'm talking about. Harlem Globetrotter,
Oh, Big
uh,
Nate.
Big Nate. So man, they
Yeah.
got me guarding him. They got me guarding him, bro. I think either he had just took y'all to the tournament or he was about to take y'all to the tournament. All right. Man, Mike, I ain't never felt so defenseless in my life, dog. At
No,
the time
yeah.
I was about 170 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Maybe.
It don't even
That man,
matter.
it didn't even matter. Say, bro, say, Chris, Chris, when I tell you he was supposed to be in the NBA, like he had it all. Like he was so gifted, but like
Yeah.
Chris, he was in there smoking me. He rolled me, he put me in a pack, he sent me home, son.
It was don't feel bad, man. There's some dudes in the Southland Conference that he destroyed. So and he immediately when Billy Kennedy was the coach at Southeastern at the time, and when I him and Big Nate and my uncle, who's at Georgia Southern now, they got a good relationship. And my uncle goes like, Mike, y'all about to get Big Nate. And all we was missing was a big man. That's all we needed was a big. And I was like, oh, it's over with. And I never forget, teammate of mine, Amir Abdurrahim. He's actually Sharif Abdurrahim's
Yeah,
younger brother.
yeah, yeah.
He's coaching at Kennesaw State now. Amir, that dude had a smile from here back to Atlanta. All them boys from Atlanta. And he was like, I finally got a big man. I'm about to go do some damage. And sure enough, Nate get there and we win the regular season, but we lose in the semis of the conference tournament. And the very next season, I think I never saw anybody work that hard. And I coached a lot of big men, and I not no big man I ever coached worked like Nate. Like Nate really worked like he he was still trying to make it out the melt, even though he had his path was already set for
Yes.
him to leave. Um, and we went to the tournament the next season with a team that wasn't as talented as the previous team.
Right.
But we walked in the gym and they saw Nate and they was like, "This is gonna be tough tonight." And the other 15 of us, we had that same stuff in our DNA. So that story, it probably wasn't me because I know when Nate was in the city and he went around and hooped, it was all them boys out the
It was
mouth.
the whole
That
mouth,
he,
dog, and it was crazy. It was crazy because like Nate, he a dog, so he
yeah,
talking this shit to me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm
yeah,
14, dog. Like ain't much I could do with him. Like I was coming down there, I give my little, you know what I'm saying? But like, if we was, bro, if we was going to 15, he had 14. Like
I can believe
he
that.
putting in work, and he really showed me like, yo, you're not working hard enough. And like after the game, like he talked to me, he told me what to do. He
Yeah,
like helped me
yep,
work on, you know what I'm saying, footwork and all this other
yep.
shit. So like anytime I see him, I shout out Nate. I love telling that story. Like I ain't embarrassed about it because it's you know what I'm saying, working hard. Like you gotta, if you love the game, like you put the craft in. That's why you here. You know what I'm saying, right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you guys aren't familiar with Coach Cyprien, um, former college coach, currently right now, you correct me if I'm wrong, um, working with skill development,
Yep.
freelance scouting, film don't lie founder, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
head tap Tuesdays. You
You see
know,
it, baby. Yeah.
man, walk us through I mean, and you don't have to go through every single, I guess, detail, but walk us through your journey going into coaching college um, to now, and what's your favorite part about it? What's your favorite part about being involved in not just coaching basketball, but being an influence, being really diving in and teaching like young men
Mm-hmm.
on how to get to whatever their next level is. It's not always like when people hear the next level, they always think it's for if you in high school, it's to college, it's from college to the
Right.
NBA. But some of these kids, it may not be that next level. It just may be
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is for them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of walk us through that.
So ironically, I didn't have any intentions on coaching in college. Truthfully, I remember when matter of fact when I was playing at Southeastern, Coach Kennedy at the time was like, Mike, you'd be a real good coach. You sure you want to major in engineering? Like you should, they want to try to make you get a degree in like general studies, something that'll keep you eligible and keep you on pace to graduate. And I was into architecture, oddly enough. And him and my uncle were trying to convince me to change my major to coach.
Mhm.
And I got my degree. I was a contractor out of college, making pretty good money, but we were all 1099 employees, so nothing is guaranteed when you're 1099. And I I got the itch to coach. And my buddy, Chris Reed, he coached Team Shockers, and he was like, "Hey man, if you want to help me coach the AAU team, I got a spot for you." And that helped me scratch the itch to coach. And once I figured out, like, okay, I think this might be what I need to do. Sure enough, I circled back to Billy Kennedy. I said, "Remember when you told me I should coach?" And I said, "No." Well, I think I'm trying to do that. And I did like a lot of people did when they want to get their foot in the door. Email everybody in the country. Hey, man, you got a GA spot. Hey, do you have a bottom assistant spot? Da, da, da. Sure enough, my first job was Roger State University. And it wasn't me that got the job. The athletic director at the school worked at Oklahoma State with my uncle. And when he saw my name in an email, he called my aunt and was like, "Somebody named Mike Cyprien is using Glenn, your husband, as a reference. Do you know him?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's my uncle. You need to hire him." And sure enough, I drove from New Orleans all the way to freaking Claremore, Oklahoma, and interviewed for a job and got it the same weekend. And that was how I got in the college business. And then from there, the guy who I played for at Southeastern needed an assistant, and former coaches hire former players all the time. So that's how I got to the Division 1 level, and that's how I got back home. Um, but probably around my fifth, sixth year in college, I mean coaching in college. At that time, I would have been at the JUCO level in Kansas. No, I'm sorry, the D2 level in Arkansas. My uncle was working with the Memphis Grizzlies,
Mhm.
and I was like 2 hours, 2.5 hours away from Memphis, where I was in Arkansas. And every time we had downtime, I'd drive and spend time with them, get to know them. That's how I met Darnell Lazard, who works with the Pelicans now. He's an assistant with them because they work together. Met him, met some other guys in the skill development. And this is when I was like, I love player development. I don't mind recruiting. I don't mind, scouting other teams, doing scouting reports. But I think you build a relationship with players through getting in the trenches with them and investing in time with them. And that was where my love for skill development just kind of just blew. And when I decided that I didn't want to coach anymore, it was when my uncle was working in Memphis, and I would watch their practices, and I'd watch some of their player development guys do some stuff, and I just remember saying to myself like, "Damn!" So what I'm working on with our big men and our guards are right on par with what the NBA dudes are working with. So I was like, that was when I was like, this is probably what I need to be doing full time. And so I just tried to figure out a way to get myself back home to be able to do it at home. And sure enough, the guy who gave me my first job, Justin Barkley, he's like, Mike, if you think about leaving the business and doing skill development full time, at the time I was offered a job back at Southeastern, and I didn't know if I wanted to take it because I was done. I was like, I'm done coaching. Well, Justin goes, take the Southeastern job. That puts you back home. And if now you're home, and if you're still feeling this way, you do decide to leave coaching and train full time, you're back home instead of quitting or resigning. And quitting is a bad term. Instead of resigning and being out here in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, where I'm the only person and can't nobody help you get gyms, sending kids your way. At least you're back home and you can get facilities and stuff like that. And it made sense. And I told my wife, like, I think that was the good man just telling me, like, all right, bro, this is what you want to do. Take the damn job and go coach at Southeastern. Now you're in your own backyard. And that's how I got back home. And then I started working at Elevate, which is a training company. We train kids as early as 5, all the way to high school, college. And I put together all of the workouts for all of the groups. I lead some of the older groups. Any camps we do, I'll put the workouts together for the camps. If we have a clinic, I'll put the workouts together for the clinic, supervise the league. So it helps me stay attached to the game. We have our leagues. If I don't have an itch to coach anymore, but I do get to coach the kids in the league. So I can pull out the clipboard and help them out. I think the most rewarding part about this is that I get to carve out a lane that I didn't think wasn't here when I was in high school. Because y'all know there was no training. Like, training wasn't a big thing when we were coming up. Everybody, I was actually telling this story to somebody earlier. Like, when Allen Iverson crossed over Michael Jordan, there wasn't a YouTube channel to teach us how to do that crossover, or there wasn't any trainers saying, like, let me teach it to you. We just grabbed the nearest basketball and everybody went to the street, to the park, and just learned how to taught themselves how to do it, play one-on-one. But I do think that if there was somebody who could help hone some skills, a lot of us would be better off. So I always say, like, I'm here to kind of do that. So Chris, or Lito, if you guys high school, let me, I just want to start teaching you things that you need to know when you walk on a college campus. You don't need to walk on a college campus and not know how to, come off a ball screen or set your man up to come off a ball screen, or, know a certain angle, how to set on a down screen, or, what reads to make if you're a point guard out of pick and roll, because I recruited a lot of kids from the city that didn't know how to do that. And I was like, no, that's not right for kids, at least out of our city. Can't speak to anybody else's city, but I don't want kids out of our city, as long as I'm responsible and I can help, to walk on a college campus and not be able to know that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's the rewarding part of trying to figure out how to, get these kids' brains moving to where when they walk on a college campus, a point guard knows how to read a tag defender. A guard who drives baseline knows how to throw a drift pass. Or big big knows what a dunker spot is. Stuff like that, I know that a lot of people don't know that terminology. So I try to impart some of that into them kids, when it's time to get to that level.
I I appreciate, every time we talk, man, I feel like I'm talking to family. Like honestly, you always got a good word for me. We may not talk every day, we may not talk often, but when we do talk, what I'm saying, it feels like it's impactful. And I do want you to know, as soon as this baby is born, 3 months, I'm giving it to you. I know you got a good word for me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm giving it a basketball as soon as it's born. Like we ready, girl or boy. But
It
I,
is.
I appreciate you telling us how you got to where, how you got to where you are, and how you got to what you're doing. But I want to take it back. I want to take it back to young Mike in the 13 ward. How did you Who did you pattern your game after, right? Who did you decide I want to play like that? And who were some of the people coming up in the city that you saw that you thought were good enough to, what I'm saying, get to the next level? But like you said, we didn't have that training. We didn't have that type of hand to get us there.
Come, I when I was little bitty, I used to watch my Uncle Skeet a lot. He went to Kennedy. He went to Kennedy, played for Brian Gibson. It was, and
Yeah.
they had a squad. High flight had him, Charles, Marcel Scott. You wanted to see dunks and stuff. It's ridiculous. So I wanted to be like my Uncle Skeet, bad. He wore number 32, so I wore number 32. Um, and then as I started approaching high school, I went to Coin, but I already knew Greedy and Dino because my dad coached Dino and my granddad coached Greedy. So I had been watching them dudes all the time. So naturally, I gravitated towards them because I'm about to be a Coin Green Hornet. But I've been knowing them dudes since I was little bitty. Them dudes was animals. Like Greedy was the athlete, and obviously Greedy one that went the furthest out of the two of them. But I knew Dino a lot more on a personal level because Dino used to spend nights at our house, and then they all used to get in the van and drive to AAU tournaments. So I spent a lot of time with Dino, and I learned court vision from him. I learned poise from him. Dino, I never watched Dino. I never saw him get panicked on the court. I never saw him fuss at anybody. Um, Always made the open shot, made the right pass. And that's one person that my granddad is a tough, tough critic. But my granddad, he loved Dino a lot. And when my granddad can speak highly of you, he done did some stuff. So early on it was my uncle, and then my dad too. My dad was a shooter. He didn't play any defense, so I couldn't relate to him that much because my dad was, a lot of people like, yeah, Mike, can you shoot the ball like your daddy? Because if they had 3-point line, he'd average 40 points at Suno or 50, however much it was. But he didn't play no D, and I was totally the opposite of him. Um, but once I got to high school and I started taking it like super serious as far as getting recruited and stuff like that, Jason Kidd was my favorite player. Um, Again, it goes back to the court vision, being a team player, defense. Obviously, I picked 32 because of him. So it just, went from Skeet being 32 to J Kidd being 32. And I wasn't a great shooter, so we had that in common as well. Um, so Jason Kidd was my favorite, and I think I was the only person in the city of New Orleans that was a J Kidd fan. Everybody else was Kobe and Shaq, Allen Iverson, Vince Carter. I was J Kidd, like a weirdo. But he went to the finals twice, so it made me look good when I was
Right.
rooting for him. So
So Mike, one of the things I and we're gonna talk about it at some point. We will dive deeper into the Pelicans, but the reason I brought you on here, and the reason that most people come on here is, I feel like there are people that are influencing the youth, specifically in the city or in the region, that deserve their flowers, and people need to hear like this story for somebody who might be the next Mike Cyprien, whatever the case may be. Um, but what is interesting to me is that you could have went you had enough connections to go and coach in a lot of other different areas and change the youth of other different cities or counties. You chose and wanted it to be in the city. You chose for it to be in New Orleans. Um, and I felt like that was always important to me. I remember I used to tell myself, like, when I was the minute I moved, I I didn't know what I was gonna do, but before I left the earth, I wanted to have an opportunity to do something positive for the city that raised me, that made me.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Coaching basketball is one side of it. The love of the game is another. But what is it about specifically being able to help frame and push kids coming from all different types of background in New Orleans in positive directions?
What when I think speaking selfishly, when the kids that look like the three of us, uh, when I come in contact with them, I try to obviously you want to relate to them. You got to relate to them at some point to get them over on your side, so they'll start listening to you, whether it be through music, whether it be you grew up in the same hood, go to the same school. Oh, my dad know your dad because in New Orleans everybody related
Yeah,
somewhere down the line. It's so small.
yeah,
But I think my biggest the thing I try to do the most when I try to use training to get these dudes to understand life, like everybody. It's dope that some of the dudes I coach have kids and they circle back and say like, yo, Coach Sip, you made me a monster. When my little girl or when my little boy get older, I want to put them with you because we used to have conversations on these road trips about just like this crap is bigger than basketball. And it's not cliche because y'all we come from some of the rough places in the world where not a lot of people had those same conversations with, or they delivered that message, but they didn't deliver it that way. We heard it sternly to where it get you want to tune it out because you're like, why are you talking to me like that? But every now and then, in the heat of battle, you got to be able to keep some perspective and pull a dude to the side. And all right, well, go ahead and vent, bro. Get it all out your system. Call me whatever you need to call me. And when you're ready to talk, we need to talk. And then the next day, we can have a more cordial conversation. And I can let you know, like, look, you can't you can't let them people see you act this way. Because what if there's a CEO of a job of a company across the way, and he sees you acting like an idiot? You know, those people pay attention to you, even though you got a basketball uniform on. They want to see how you react in these intense environments. And if you can keep calm in an intense environment, like you can't tell me that you grew up in the hood, and you heard gunshots and you survived, but then you're gonna come in this arena and let somebody call you a punk, make you lose your mind. Like that don't add up. But I think helping these kids keep perspective and help them know like I'm more than if you want me to be. I don't ever you know force myself on anybody. If you want me to be in that role or in that space in your life, then we can talk about stuff other than basketball. I'm here for and then a lot of our kids need that because a lot of our kids don't have that. It's a lot of and the good thing is where I train at, we have a lot of two parent household, kids from two parent household, moms and dads are in the gym, but every now and then we get some single parents, some single moms or some single dads coming in there. And I try to make sure that I'm dapping them kids up. I'm showing them a little extra love because they probably not getting that. They're not getting an extra amount at the crib when they go back home. Um, so when Chris, when you talk about the positives of what I'm outside of making a kid, if a kid has a bad left hand and you see their left hand getting better, you can kind of see them getting more confident when their left hand gets better, or if they finally figure out like a move they've been struggling with it and they figure out the move, you can kind of see how in their movement that they're a little bit more confident because they understand it now. Them kids, when they come in the gym, a kid that comes to the gym for the first time is kind of timid, standoffish, and then like the fifth time they come in, they're like, "Yo, hey coach, let's play some 1-on-1." Now like, all right, this dude looks like me, and this dude wants what's best for me, so I can feel comfortable. I can be myself around him. I like that a lot. And you're just using the game to kind of get to just trying to get that from them. However, like Lito, you write music, so you can you can use music to get a kid um to get on that same level with you. However, whatever your vice is, it's just mine is basketball. And I understand that the city's rough. Like, the mid 90s was brutal, but it's rough right now. So a lot of these
yeah,
kids, especially a lot of our kids that come in that's from these environments, they need to be hearing as much positive stuff as you can give them. Say well, when they leave, maybe if they got somebody in the hood that's trying to get them to come to the streets and they got training that night, they're like, nah, I'm going to see Coach Hip tonight. I know when I see Coach Hip, all is well with the world because I know he came from where I come from, but he not out here doing the same crap. So I just try to keep that in perspective when I'm engaging with these kids. Like, if you can't, like, if we tell you get back to the line with 2 minutes on the clock and you late, you owe me push-ups because if your mama at the house tell you cut the game off by 8 o'clock, what's gonna happen at 8 o'clock if she run in that room and you ain't got the game off? We gonna get punished? I'm like, you probably gonna get worse. So
Right.
we got to make sure we got to make sure we kind of enforcing that those same types of principles for the train at.
Man, Mike, I want to say this. Everything you're doing, you know what I'm saying, from the community, helping the community, because I mean that's what it is, bro. Like you helping the community. Like it's a basketball thing for sure. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, you molding minds, you making good humans. You know what I'm saying? And we give people their flowers for all different types of things. Like in my eyes, from your story, right? You're doing the same thing Spitter did, right? Spitter is a hometown hero, right? You doing it the same way, except you're doing it with a basketball. And with,
Right.
and in my eyes, like you getting a lot. You can get as far as like helping mold the next mind, helping mold the next generation. Me and you had a conversation, in the DMs, about music. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? I know you remember that. And we were just, it was, I told you it's a community thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a one-off thing. It's like I gotta help you, you gotta help me, like each one teach one, everybody makes one. And that's exactly what you're doing, right? And I just want to give you your flowers for that
Appreciate it.
because
Appreciate it.
nah, bro, nah, real shit. That's important. That's important. Like everybody can say what they want, but the real skill is putting the action behind it, right? And that's what you're doing. So shout out to you. But I got a question. Yo, so like when they come in there and you train them, you know what I'm saying, and they feel better about themselves and they hit you with that, hey coach, you want to play one-on-one? The work.
A lot of times it's the smaller kids because they don't know any better. 'Cause, when I demonstrate the moves, it's like a 2 second demonstration where I can just kind of show off like I still got it, but they don't believe that. They don't.
Yeah.
It's like when you little bitty and your dad can hoop, but you like let me go ahead and test him real quick, and he literally got to like put you on the post the whole time, and then well you posting me up, you supposed to. I'm like, well, don't talk crap next time. So from time to time, for every 5 or 6 kids that say coach that's 1v1, I'm like, all right, bro, and then I gotta go ahead and first I'm shooting long shots. Mondays we train shooting, so we doing form shooting. So I'm like, what was this jump shot when I was in college? Why would I not shoot like this in college? Why didn't I? And so they like, well, you train us every day, coach. You're supposed to make that shot. And I'm like, well, why would you ask me to play 1-on-1 then? If you know this. And then on Wednesdays is our attack academy. So I'm like, well, we can only go to the bucket. So I can't move downhill super fast.
You don't gotta tell me.
I'm like, I work the mid post on them. I
Yeah.
get my Paul George on. Well, you supposed to post. You can't post a sub coach. I'm like, no, I can't shoot jump shots. There's no rules. I can't post you up. So yeah, Lito, to answer your question, I'll deny the first four, but to say that fifth one, you got to get the business, and I'll do it in front of the other ones. Like the other ones got to be watching. So when they see me doing you bad, then they like, you know what? I'm gonna let them live today. I'm not gonna even mess with them. Like I'm gonna ask them some extra questions now.
That's community outreach.
Yeah, each one teach one. Just get a 4-pack, baby.
So, Mike, I do want to. This is more of a Pelicans related question, but it also dives into your time coaching. So, and I save these kind of questions for for certain people because I mean, like there's off the top of my head, there's more than 3 people, but there's 3 people that have connection in the city somehow, whether they're in media, whether they're coach or whatever the case may be, that I talk to regularly on Twitter or through text or whatever, that just I feel like they lack me with like basketball knowledge, experience, so on and so forth, right? So that's off the top of my head, it's Antonio Daniels, it's David Grubb, and it's you, right? So
That's high praise right there, dog.
well, I mean, off the top, just the people that I deal with, the terms that that you throw out. Basketball is just like you could tell certain people when you talk to them, like, bro, this motherfucker that had a basketball in their hands since they was 3 years old. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like just the slang terms that are used, things that only the people that have spent a ridiculous amount of time with the basketball, watching basketball, playing basketball could really know to understand. So I did want to say that. Shout out to Grubb and AD. At one point, we got to get everybody on one. He just talk, as we were saying before I hit the record button. Sometimes, bro, I just want to talk basketball. But the question is, so the Pelicans are 5-5 right now, and expectations and injuries and bad performances, good performances, however you look at it, the other side to that, with observers, some media, some fans, they want change, right? And they want it to happen just like that. They want adjustments right away. But the reality to that is that if it's never that simple, right?
No.
So my question is, coming from your perspective and your time in coaching, how do you view, or how did you view changes, tweaks, adjustments, whether it came with players, whether it came with rotations, whether it came with additions or subtractions? How is that viewed versus the quick take and the immediate, I guess, instant moves that fans and people from the outside want? How is it viewed from your perspective?
As it pertains to the Pels, my observation is a lot of people, while a lot of fans, and I don't follow every fan obviously on Twitter, but the ones that I interact with and I just kind of see through my scrolls and stuff like that, spent a lot of time, and I said it in the spaces, spent a lot of the offseason excited, as you should have been. But with that excitement came a lot of smack talking. And when when you're talking a lot, and with a lot of the talking we did came some unrealistic expectations, to the point where you have guys that are saying like, we're not as good as y'all think, or as good as y'all want us to be. And then there comes the pushback with you don't want the team to be great. No. And I think, maybe Lito or maybe Grubb said, no, it's because I want the team to be great that I'm saying this. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And that's why I'm always of the mindset of, especially with NBA basketball, I'm like, let's give it a month. I literally told one of my best friends, he's like, Mike, man, we on deck. We do this. I'm like, wait a month, man. Wait a month. You need a sample size. And yeah, we in game. We going into game 11 of an 82 game season, and no team at this point is a finished product. So there should be no extreme reactions, whether negatively or positively. At the college level, you kind of have, you got 3 seasons just like the NBA, but it's extremely compressed because you got your preseason, where if you're at the D1 level, you're going to go play the high majors. You're going to play them money games where they pay you to come and get smacked by 20, 30, 40 points. And those games are all about, getting some guys some big game experience, getting some guys seeing some stuff away from the crib. Like if you're from New Orleans and you've always been an LSU fan and you sign a Southeastern, maybe, coach or schedule a LSU game as a non-conference game. Now you get to play in the Marriott Center. And all your family get to see you play in the Marriott Center. You don't have expectations. Now you're gonna prepare to win, but as a staff, we like, yo, fellas, let's just get through this game without injury. It's probably gonna get bad, but we got to make sure that these guys understand that we're playing for March. We're not playing for the end of this 40 minutes. it's the same thing with these Pels fans. We all playing for June, but with I literally looked at the standings earlier, Chris. Some of the teams that are behind us are the teams that were picked to be ahead of us. Clippers are behind us. Um, Minnesota's not. Minnesota wasn't picked ahead of us, but some of the teams that are behind us,
The Warriors.
the Warriors, yeah. I, if we're panicking now, what do you think? What the hell do you think? And I would
Yeah.
venture to say the Warriors have real problems. Like they have legit problems. They let go Otto Porter, GP2, like dudes that like had impact on their defense,
Yep.
and they're seeing that. The offense isn't the problem, defense is the problem, and they let go of some guys that impact that. We returned a lot, and returning everybody, I still like Trey's Trey's dealing with a bigger role on a team that has actual expectations. Jose's dealing with a bigger role on a team that has actual expectations. We're not the cute little hey we made the play in story anymore. We're part of people's scouting reports now. Like you can't say yes I can shoot and then shoot the ball well and don't think that coming into the season people are going to be closing out to you a little bit harder. People saw Trey Murphy working out, so a lot of people don't want to get embarrassed, and I think the fans started reading press clippings a little too much, which fans will do that. And I generally think that some of the guys, some of us started reading the press clippings a little too much. People have stuff to prove and people want to win. And I don't disagree that the Pels guys don't want to win, but I do think that from a coaching perspective, to me it looks like we still CJ, BI, and Zion still haven't figured out how to coexist early on. It's a lot of my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. Um, okay, you took 3 shots in a row. Let me get a touch now, and I don't get a touch. So now it's impacting my defense. I see a lot of that, and fans have to see that. You take your rose-colored glasses off and see that. Like
This man
you
preaching.
can't, you can't, you can't be so high on the team that you're only saying, well, we're only 10 games in. We still got 72 games left. Okay, so what are you going to do when we're 40 games in and we're still playing 500 basketball and the Warriors have figured it out? And now they're 5 games ahead of us. And and the Suns have extended the lead. The Clippers, Kawhi magically gets his knee starts feeling better. Now they're ahead of us. You can't, at some point, you got to cut off we still have 60 games left and be like, no, let's get this here, start plucking these teams off now. But but to answer your question, Chris, the early part, the first third of the schedule was all just about learning and growth and managing stuff, managing injuries, um, figuring out who you can trust when it's nut cutting time. Yeah, we would figure out rotations going into the first 2 games of conference play, and at that point, we've already played almost a third of our season. But you hope that by middle of league play, you've cut your rotation down. Some of those guys that haven't been able to play, or some of those guys that maybe not meeting expectations, you play them spot minutes, but you're rolling with your guys halfway through conference because you gotta know who you can go to your conference tournament and win 1 game per day with. Because now once you get to your conference tournament, one time you're out, you can't play 10 deep. So um, this third of the season, it can the first third of the NBA season, let's say the first 30 games, it can fans can definitely get a little lax with expectations, and you can be like, all right, well we 15-15, we straight. Like no, we're not, bro. We're not, because it'll be late March, early April before you know it, and we're on the outside looking in, and we're back to where we were last season, fighting for a play in because we did the whole we got 82 we got 72 games left. Oh, we still got 60 games left. Oh, it's the trade deadline. We finally gonna make a move, but maybe it's too late. You know, fans lack perspective. It's hard to get that. And I try to keep in perspective. That's why coming into any season, no matter how good, no matter what pickups, what moves the team make, what guys look like they ready to take the next leap. And the practice I went to, Trey Murphy looked good. First thing I text my brother was like, "Yo, Trey's like that. Yo, Jose is like that." And the 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 bickering and complaining about those two guys need more minutes is justified. But we don't know what's going on inside that gym on airline. we don't know what's the situation. We don't know how much control Willie has over that. There's some stuff that comes from the ivory tower that he can't control. That actually goes on. So, I don't want to play the wait and see, but I'm not gonna get too panicky or too. I'm not gonna do too much complaining until we're like a month, maybe a month and a half into the season where we got a legit maybe 15 game sample size. Then you're like, all right, trade deadline's coming. He got to go. He got to go because now we got to really ramp it up and start winning 5 to 7 games in a row. Start getting these start knocking these games out the way so we can start separating ourselves from people behind us or nipping at the heels of the people in the top 4 or 5. Because by then, some of these teams will start being who they really are.
Man, Mike, I don't know if you ever been in the pulpit before, man, but
No.
swear, man, you was just preaching. I like to. It's hard when we're obviously all fans of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I give my life up to watch basketball every night, no matter who playing. You be kids on the corner shooting a basketball. I'm gonna be giving them perspective, watching, form, looking at form.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they really don't
Take your elbow, dog. Take your elbow.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard being a person who has to comment on a team because while you have to be a fan, you still have to give a realistic expectation of the things that you see. And I think that also like the perception is where you sit and what you're looking at. And I think if you like you say, if you came into the season and you expected them to be at a certain place, well, yes, you are disappointed right now if you're looking at 5-5, right? But if you're looking at a team that's still very young, still has a long way to go as far as growth and continuity, still has a long way to go as far as defined roles for certain players, then 5-5 is, you know what I'm saying, is all right. It just depends on where you sit. But I wanna ask you this. I know we 10 games in, but I want my early NBA prediction from you because I'm going to DraftKings as soon as we finish with this based on what you tell me.
No.
Who you got? What teams have caught your eye basically in the 10 games that we have seen? What 2 teams you see maybe going to the finals?
I think Milwaukee's legit. That's the one team. That's the one team that if again I don't do a whole lot of further fall down the line stuff as especially with the NBA being so long, but barring health, Milwaukee's legit. I mean, I don't think anybody saw Brook Lopez being this good defensively. And Drew's playing out of his mind. And this is without Middleton too. They're manufacturing points without basically the second best player, at least second best scorer, if not. Because obviously Middleton's not going to bring what a lot of them guys bring on the defensive end. But I knew Milwaukee was going to be good because Giannis is at that level now where young LeBron was, where you just put that dude on any team and immediately you can pencil him in to at least the conference finals. That's how good. But them other dudes around him have gotten better. And like I said, barring health, Milwaukee's gonna be there in the end. I was listening to something earlier said the West is wide open, and I couldn't agree more because I literally had a back and forth with somebody after watching us play Utah. And I was like, are y'all sure Utah's tanking right now? And somebody was like, yo, man, I think Danny Ainge is pissed off that they're not losing. Like, no, Utah might be legit. And I remember watching Auburn last season. Everybody was gushing over Jabari Smith. And I told one of the Pelican scouts from Coolwood, I'm like, Walker Kessler's gonna be a good NBA player. Because there's nothing better in the NBA than a big dude like that who can get in the way, but not get in the way because he's goofy, but get in the way because he knows how to get in the way. And I just remember watching us play the Jazz, and he was making, JV was dominating the glass, but Kessler was in there, and JV couldn't do nothing with that dude, because he's big, he's as long, but he's way more mobile. And we getting that drop coverage ball screen, and JV's trying to keep the guard in front. And meanwhile, Kessler just moseying on to the basket. Shot goes up, and all of a sudden you just see his just come out and grab the ball from out of nowhere. And I've always been a fan of Laurie Markkinen. He just couldn't stay healthy. But what he's doing right now doesn't surprise me because I liked him a lot when he was in college at Arizona.
Yeah.
He just a lot of these dudes are good, just can't help. Like Colin Sexton, he was unhealthy. Darius Garland was waiting in the wings. They made a move, and now Colin Sexton's healthy, and Colin Sexton is what the NBA is now. You know, big, strong, shifty guards who can put a lot of rim pressure on your team, straight line drives, and then Clarkson's the same way. He's been who he always was. You know, microwave scorer in the starting role, and them dudes play hard. And that's if you got a good combination of, Milwaukee and Utah are kind of similar in that you got dudes who can put it in the basket, but those same dudes who put it in the basket play hard as hell. You got a recipe for a pretty good team. And I think that's why Utah, because now Utah's starting to get confident. They're like, yo, we're not tanking. I don't know what the hell y'all was thinking about. And ironically, they moved Rudy, and Minnesota's struggling. People thought that, okay, well, they lost Rudy. It's going to be a big drop off. Minnesota's struggling. They can't get that figured out. Now, Danny Ainge looks like a genius because now he can play probably the same card that Willie played with some of our guys. Dude, y'all are castaways. Nobody likes y'all. Nobody's giving y'all a chance. Laurie, they left you for dead. Chicago dealt you. Colin, Cleveland gave up on you for them other two dudes.
Thanks.
Walker Kessler was Defensive Player of the Year. We gush over Herb being a Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC, but Walker was the National Defensive Player of the Year. Like, so what you're seeing from him on the defensive end shouldn't surprise you. That stuff translates. Not everybody can score it, but if you got those defensive instincts and again, you got effort, and you get put around some guys who can do a lot of stuff well that you don't do, then you're going to have to do that can play. I like Milwaukee a lot. Everybody's in their mom saying it, but I think I think Bobby Portis taking a big step offensively. The last couple seasons helps them. Because now they got another forward they can have in a rotation that can score it when Giannis is not playing. Mm-hmm. So now they got three dudes that play the forward for them that can go get you 25 in any given night. And they all over 6'10".
Yeah.
Right.
And they all play hard and they play relatively good defense. Bobby's a pretty good defender.
Yeah.
So now you can have Giannis and Brook on the court. That's a hell of a front line. Or Brook and Portis on the court. You can have trouble scoring on them. Or Giannis and Bobby Portis on the court. You don't have trouble scoring against them. Oh, and by the way, they're making it hell for you on the perimeter too.
and they all play different too. Like that's the crazy part about it. They all play different. All those forwards. Chris, before you go, I got one follow-up question for Mike on that. If you had one word you could tell Pelicans fans right now, just based on how the team is playing, what is the word you would give them just to kind of settle them or relax them or, whatever?
Oh, one word. Perspective. Because we got a bunch of young dudes, like y'all alluded to it earlier. We got a lot of young dudes who are playing on the team with expectations now. Like, the fans ask for national media respect, and now we're getting it. But what comes with national media respect, the other teams that we're playing against have also been seeing that. And the first 5 games, every podcast that I would listen to that's not y'all was like, Pelicans are fun, man. The Pelicans are great. They're coming, man. They're here, and this, that, and the third. There's a lot of people listen to the same thing. And, you know how it is, man. You live in – people want to knock you down if you start getting a little too high. They start throwing rocks at you if you get a little too high. So,
yeah.
Fans got to keep perspective that, people are. I mean, I can't believe people still falling for the Jose GTA move, but they're going at him a little harder now. They're making it a little tougher on Herb. Herb's still getting officiated like some crap. I hate it. BI's getting bumped a little bit more. They're making it hard for Zion. We got expectations now, so you got to understand that. We can't operate like we were when we first got CJ, and and okay, we're making this good postseason run. We're sneaking up on people. There's no more sneaking up on people now. So we just got to have perspective, and if you can have a little bit of that, it may relax you just naturally. You can sit back and say like, yeah, okay. Once we get that fixed, we may be okay. And it also say like, now we need to get that fixed, or we're gonna be in trouble. But you won't be too extreme with your thinking.
So Lito mentioned that he was going to take whatever predictions that Mike had to DraftKings afterwards. But why do that when you can do that right now? You guys didn't know. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball, we 10 games in, but we back. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook. It's the official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA money line bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. In addition to the usual bets, you can boost your winnings up to 100% with the DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. When you take one, you put it with another one. Next thing you know, you got about 10, 15 legs, and they might not all hit. But listen, you put them together, it might work out.
Got some legs.
Simple than that. Payouts bigger than ever. DraftKings Sportsbook is where we go to bet on the NBA. So look, that thing that's under that little logo that's under Lito right there.
It's right there.
It's right there.
All right.
Use that code BOOT. Download DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code BOOT. Any $5 this week. Any $5 bet you put in this week, and you get $200 in free bets. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility. I can't say it right now. Restrictions apply.
Eligibility don't matter when you win parlays. Eligibility don't matter.
It's that simple. But if you know anyone has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accepted or accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537. All right. So now we got that out of the way. I'm gonna close out with a game that I played, or that me and Lito had the chance to try out with Mark Schindler. I know, Coach Tip, you checked it out. You checked out that episode, so I appreciate it. This game is called Your Life is on the Line. All right, so we did a lot of offensive centric questions in the first one. This one we're gonna do defense. So the for those that are new, the object of the game is I'm gonna give a scenario, and they gotta pick a player that if their life is on the line they have to make this object, like they have to clear this objective. So we clear, we good?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one, Mike talked about it earlier. Pick and roll, drop coverage. What the Pelicans are doing right now. You got to get one stop and your life is on the line. What big would you pick to make this stop?
In the drop coverage?
In the drop coverage. What big do you want with your life being on the line?
Probably Evan Mobley.
Ooh, like that. I like that. Lito?
Yeah.
Wow. Current bigs, right?
Current bigs. He's playing
drop in the 80s, playing drop coverage.
And you cannot pick Sip's answer. You can't pick
That's my Ojito. All right. Giannis.
I can't.
Hey, you can't go wrong.
Who do I like? Because Evan and Giannis are really good. AD. Yeah, even right now today, I think he handles it well. I think
I was just agreeing.
No, yeah. I think he handles drop. He handles drop really well. Is on both sides. I always say when healthy, he's one of the best basketball safeties that I've seen in like a very long time. So that would be my pick.
KG.
Yeah. Next one, Lito. We're gonna start this one with you. You got Ja Morant, open court, full head of steam. You got to make the stop without fouling. Your life's on the line. Who you got to make that stop?
Yeah, that's a full steam.
Yeah.
I'm going with Giannis again.
Mm-mm.
Going with
Dang.
Giannis again.
Yeah.
Giannis go save my life, dog.
Giannis got drop
Thank you.
coverage, and he got the full head of Steve Ja on the break. Coach Sip, who you got?
Oh, I was hoping you would have said that, dog. I was like, man, if this man don't say Giannis, I'm gonna blow his head off, man. This man is crazy. Dang. I'll probably this coming out of left field. Davion Mitchell.
Ooh, I
Wow.
like
Way
that.
out of left field.
I like that. Nah,
Wow.
I like that.
Davion Mitchell. I like that.
Nah, that's in left field, but the ball in play. That was.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I
Because
like
if you have a big that can just block him, then sheesh, good luck.
Yeah.
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 I mean, if I mean, we know they're gonna call the foul on Herb, so I can't pick him.
Yeah.
But if they officiated him the right way, that would be my answer. All right, let's move forward here. You need a guard to navigate through two screens to heavily contest a corner three. 9 times out of 10, he coming cross court. Coach Sip, what guard you picking?
Back to back, I'm going Davion again.
Damn.
His screen navigation is his motor and screen navigation is this. Whether it be off ball screens or on ball screens is elite. He'll be there on the catch.
I gotta watch more Sacramento game.
Nah, he official. I mean, he
legit, dog.
Yeah, I knew he was like that coming out of Baylor though, and I watched a few like last year, but I ain't got a chance to watch Sacramento too much this year because they Sacramento. But I'm not turning on a Sacramento Kings game. I don't have to right now. It's just not.
He played good. He played good D on stuff last night. To be honest, I was watching that game.
Who you got, Lito?
Man, because you said corner three, because you said navigate screens through a corner three, I'm going with her. Because that's his special. That's what he does. Now, if you'd have said top of the key three, I wasn't saying her.
Okay, I like that. See. This why I like talking basketball because maybe you know what I mean. Like not many other people I could have got up here would have thought of from that perspective. So that's dope. My pick, Drew Holiday. That's my pick. You need to stop against Luka and ISO.
Good luck with that.
It's a Luka ISO. You know he liked to set up from like that high wing area. He got the corner. He got the corner here. But if he decide he want to go over, he can. But he also, I mean, Luka crazy. But you need to stop against a Luka ISO for your life. Lito, who you got?
I'm gonna take a healthy Kawhi Leonard.
I don't know what a healthy Kawhi Leonard look like no more, but I ain't mad at that.
I can remember. I can remember a healthy one.
I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about if he step on the floor healthy right now, I know what it look like, but I ain't mad at that.
All right, hold on. I could redo it then. I could redo my answer.
Sure.
All right. I want some length. I want a taller Kel. I'm gonna go with Mikael.
Oh, great minds think alike, buddy.
It's right there. I mean, it's right there.
Oh man, shucks. Now I got to rethink my answer because we can't piggyback. Oh man,
I'm gonna step in. I got one before you give you a little bit more time.
My man.
I'm gonna get an underdog's love. I'm going with Lou Dort.
Ooh.
I'm going with Lou Dort, dog. Lou Dort don't fall for none of that bullshit.
He don't.
He not falling for none of your fakes. He not falling for none of your. He not handsy. You know what I'm saying? he got, he's shifty back and forth. Matter of fact, I think there was I think they played earlier in the year, the Thunder and Dallas, and it was a few possessions where like Lou was on him and Luka had the ball for about 7 minutes trying to get open. It just wasn't happening. It ended up in a couple air balls, but yeah, I'm gonna give Lou Dort the nod for me.
I'll go Drew.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Drew because you gotta have somebody strong enough to where if Luka, Luka's gonna try to get to that mid post, that elbow area, and Drew, you won't bully him, and Drew's hands are quick enough. He can poke at the rock, throw his timing off, and he can still contest it. You got to either have a long wingspan, somebody who won't get bullied, or somebody with good hands.
Real shit.
so
Real shit. I wanted to say Giannis again, but I ain't want
bro, you gotta say Giannis for all these fucking answers. Like it's not.
That's my
I thought you
patron
was
saint,
gonna
bro.
I thought you was gonna say Paul George.
Man, I was thinking about that, but
I was
I
too.
don't. I thought about. I don't know. I'm the last time I really Kawhi. The last time I really remember a healthy Kawhi. I think I saw him playing against Luka, and I'm not. I mean, obviously nobody's gonna make it very difficult for Luka because of like his skill set, but Kawhi was making him work because Kawhi
Mm-hmm.
has all those abilities. I mean, he's got the big
Mm-hmm.
hands. You know what I'm saying? He has the base, and he's strong as fuck. So like.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That was the first like thing that popped into my head.
No,
Yep.
and Kawhi in a stance is just like it's like when we talking about perimeter defense, but you in a stance, it's not even like extra. You know how some guards, some forwards, they got to get really low.
Yeah.
Kawhi's like the motherfucker barely like he's barely bending. You know what I'm saying?
Derrick Henry. He played like Derrick Henry, dog. Like he's straight up.
It's crazy, dog. It's like him and Pippen. Like if we talking
Yeah.
like it just those kind of what do you do with that when you got that kind of wingspan, those hands, and you just see.
And the instincts though, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
you can have those things, but the instincts to just, I don't know, man. Like I wish Kawhi one of my favorite players, man. I really wish him help. Hold on, before we get out of here.
Hold on, Lito, you break it up a little bit.
I was asking Mike if he knew Ivory Clark.
Yeah.
Man, so that's my guy. That's my guy. First of all, we got to talk basketball with Ivory at some point. But man, Ivory is, bro. You talk about Kawhi from like will yell his name from the rooftops, bro. He believe in Kawhi. Like he'll tell you like, oh, when that Kawhi run happened in Toronto, yo, Kawhi the best player in the NBA. I don't care what you're telling me. That's my.
You couldn't tell a lot of Kawhi fans that either, boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mike, this was dope, man. Before we officially close out, man, tell the people that's listening what Head Tap Tuesday is, and tell us more about Film Don't Lie. Some of the stuff associated that you're working on, any type of accessories that come with it. I've seen a book. I've seen a bunch of different. There's a logo. There's a bunch of shit here affiliated with, man. But for people that don't know, kind of go into detail about those two things.
Well, Head Tap Tuesday is just something that I started just to build up some engagement and give some people some love. Like it's not like sports in the top 10 where you get the nastiest plays or whatever. And I crazy enough, it started because I didn't know Pat Beverly had a podcast, and so I don't know how I got to his IG account, and he showed a dunk, and he was like, "Oh, the hashtag was Head Tap," and I swear to God, I was watching it on a Tuesday, and I said, "Damn it, Head Tap Tuesday," and so I just told all of because we're filming online, I focus on I don't focus on like the high major division ones and the kids who need like LSU kids are gonna always be on TV. They're gonna always be scouted because they're just a national name. But Southeastern kids, Nickel State kids, may not. So I try to do stuff, when I put reports together, try to do stuff on those kids and get their names out there to these scouts and agents I'm cool with. But I also do film on live, geared toward them. Like for junior college kids today, just to show them some love because I coach in JUCO, so I can relate to them too. That they're in these obscure cities, nobody, 500 people in the town, out of town only black people you go see in that town gonna be on on campus. So just to give them some love. As far as film don't lie, right now I watch a lot of synergy film. Go through and coaches send me names. I got some trainers that I'm cool with. They used to coach in post grad. They like, hey, coach, take a look at this kid. You may like him. And, again, if I do like him and I do some background on him, put some stuff together, and I'm good with some scouts from the Pelicans, Magic, um, the Clippers, stuff, that scouts that I'm cool with from when my uncle worked with the Grizzlies and he introduced me to them. And I just maintained those relationships. And I threw the idea at them initially, and they were like, "Yo, this is good stuff." NBA people won't pay for it because we get paid to scout, but it's always good to have extra names. They always looking to add names, so I try to do that for the little guy. Because I walked on at Southeastern before I got a scholarship, so I do it for the ones that that gotta do a little extra, who path or a little bit longer to get to where they want to go. No accessories. My wife actually she got me for Christmas last year when I was serious about it, and I was like, I want to take this, and I'm gonna, she it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning. She was like, bro, what are you doing? Come to bed, because I'm watching film and stuff. Like a weirdo. Christmas she got me the book and she got me the shirt, and my brother was like, Mike, we need more gear, dog. And I had a couple coaches say like, where can I get a shirt? So like you said, Chris, once I stop being a wuss and stop being so scared, I'm gonna figure out a way to just like market it and just be in your face with it. Right now, I'm just doing it off the passion. I'm not doing it for monetary reasons. I think if I was doing it for monetary reasons, I'd be all up in everybody's face with it. But I think it's starting to bubble a little bit within me, so I'll get some stuff out. But for the most part, dude, I scout for the little guy, NAIA, Division One, some mid majors. JUCO kids. If I think that, hey man, in a couple years he's gonna be good, I may send some stuff on JUCO kids to some scouts I'm cool with, and then head tap Tuesdays, man. If you find a nasty dunk, send it to me. I'll make sure I give them some love and tag them and go from there. Even if you're at the park, you dunk on somebody, man.
Lito, we talking to you, man. How much? You know what I mean? What you got?
Oh, my
You
knees
got.
gone, cuz.
Listen, you got you ain't got one more poster left in
Nah,
you?
man, my knees gone, cuz. You throw it up to me. I'm gonna come down with it. I'm gonna lay it up. Like I ain't got it. I ain't got it no more, man. You only got so many jumps, man. I use mine up.
You better get it back, dog, because that little one when they start walking and running, over with.
Yeah, man. Oh no, I got some work for them. I got some fundamental work for them. I got some skill. I wish the baby would talk shit to me. I'm ready at. Look, I got some game. I just can't run a bit. I ain't fast no more how I used to. I can't get up and down. But Mike, don't trip. As soon as the baby 2 months old, I'm dropping them off at the camp. We be there Monday and Wednesday. We pulling up. But
We active, baby.
real spell. I just wanted to say, man, like, you're a son of the city, man. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everything you're doing. If you need help with anything, like I'm saying this loud, if you need help with anything, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a retweet, that's a post, that's an idea. You got an idea, something, like, hit me. I got you. Me and Chris, we good at that.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell, man. Like I just told, like, all right, I got to figure out a way how I'm gonna market it. What I'm gonna do. What's the next step? The scouting stuff is the easy part, even though it's time consuming. But Chris, you and I spoke about it in DM. Like when you're doing it when you're not attached to it, it's fun because you can do it when you want to. Like if I decided not to do no more scouting, I don't think anybody would care. But I had a conversation with a scout today about a kid, and that those interactions remind me of like, all right, something, and then coming on here, and y'all got a good platform, and y'all giving me some time, to shine. I'm like, all right, so this is something that's manifesting. It just don't take it's gonna take a little bit longer than you may like. But every now and then you need somebody to just kind of, give you a little bit of jolt, a little bit of push to get it started.
Appreciate that, man. Listen, what's been my mission for the past 2-3 years. I mean, since I got any kind of attention, I mean, it's really all about helping anybody that you can see doing something, doing damn near anything positive. And I'm addicted to giving, to shining a light on New Orleans. I can't get that out of me. I mean, that's who I am at this point. So I mean, like Lito said, it's nothing, and we gonna chop it up after this and chop it up, throughout to figure out, I mean, it's gonna be a bunch of DMs pressuring you and bullying you to get it, to figure it out.
He done messed up now.
Figure it out. Now that we know, I mean, that's what. Like, look, man. I mean, like we talked about it on the last episode with Jake. Lito called me and bullied me at like 1:30 in the afternoon, like to force me to.
Yeah, I listened to that.
It was what it was. You know what I'm saying? But yo, man, Mike, I appreciate you coming on, Coach. Lito, as always.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe. I never say that, by the way. Like, subscribe. What else I'm missing? Share, pass it on.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Show my love. Show my dogs love. You was in space. We out.